Yeah. All righty. Morning, everybody. It's Liberty County Commissioners Court special meeting, June 15th, about 8:30. 8:30, it's okay. And we only have one item on the agenda. Consider and approve revised policies and procedures for rental of the Liberty County Jack Hartel building. And what we have, a building that was acquired through GLO years ago. It's about to become county property. It should in August, I think, is when it rolls over. And again, this is considered, okay, you don't have to get out there and jump up and down and say this is what we're going to do right now. I want to get this out there so we can talk about it, because we use the building primarily as a staging location for crisis. It was built for that purpose, for first responders to have a shelter. And then after the crisis was over, then if we could use it as a shelter for the public, then we would. Okay, that's the first reason. Okay. But then we have a public building that's in the possession of the county come August, and the rules change. Right, Sheriff? That's the way I look at it. They're going to change. I mean, we've used it for a number of purposes. We've used it for elections. We've used it for historical commission, which is fine with me. And they have their meetings. We've had numerous workshops there. We've had HGAC come out. We've had GLO come out. Everybody else. It's a great building. Good thing. But now, are we going to allow it to be, for public use, for rental? And we've done it in the past, but then now we're going to get the questions asked. What if we have a wedding reception? Can we serve alcoholic beverages? Well, you can't sell them, but you could serve them theoretically. And that's my point. Then it becomes a problem for sheriff's department or police department, with whomever's going to be covering that on the public safety aspect. So those are things I want to get out there. Ought to consider before August hits, and then we got to dust up somewhere. So anyway, we have the Liberty County Community Center application to use the building, and there's some security policies, procedures are on here, and it really kind of gets down to like number one. Alcohol may be served, not sold during an event. Okay. Yeah, that's what y'all want to do. Okay. Then who is going to cover the event for law enforcement? I would think it'd be either constable's department, because it's a county facility, or the sheriff's department.
Well, that all depends. If that's a private event, then they should be responsible for the hiring of those officers, not the county.
That's correct.
If they're gonna serve alcohol.
Well, I don't think they'll serve alcohol, like alcohol service there any period. But I agree with you, they can hire security as long as law enforcement.
That's the point I'm making, is that if that's a private event, a wedding such of that nature, then they need to be, it needs to be a contract that's drew up. That we would have the county attorney's office provide for us that if they are going to be serving alcohol, or if they're going to be consuming alcohol on the premises, that they will be responsible for the hiring of off-duty officers for security.
But I would like that to be limited to Liberty County law enforcement officers, either the sheriff department, constable, or Liberty Police Department.
That's fine.
Commissioners,
Captain, come up, please. I want Leon to hear you.
if I may say, I absolutely agree with both of you. And in the application that I've recently beefed up, it says just that. If a private event is going to occur and alcohol is going to be served, I've worked with Chief Deputy Knox on this in regards to a formula. For security, there is a request form in the application packet. It is the sole responsibility of the lessee, the renter, to obtain those security officers. They are responsible for the cost. The county will not be responsible for looking for these officers or setting it up. We will have no part in that. That is the sole responsibility of the renter.
Catherine, in that agreement, do you also have it stipulated that upon the event, if they haven't followed through with that agreement, that signed contract, whatever we're doing, that if the officers are not there, that the event will immediately be shut down?
I don't have it exactly spelled out like that, but I'm sure that's something that a provision similar to that, we can add that in.
Yes, ma'am.
I want local law enforcement, somebody's familiar with the area, the people in there.
I'm with you. And right now, it says, security will be provided by only off-duty certified peace officers employed by Liberty County. So that means constables, sheriff's office, deputies, county investigators that might work for the DA's office, the county attorney's office. If you want to expand that to LPD.
Yes, we need to do that. We need to include all the local law enforcement.
Hey, Leon,
Yeah,
what about, say the Trinity Valley Exposition wants to use it and they have donated deputies from out of county?
That's too bad.
if they have donated deputies from out of county,
You know what I mean? In other words, they're not going to charge TVE to the security at the event. They will donate their time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, that's a 501c3 organization, correct?
Right.
I could see to where that could possibly be incorporated. I think it would really take a little more decisions, a little more thought. But with them being a 501c3 organization, that's a possibility. We could see that.
Sure.
Commissioner Wilson, I'd like to kind of add something in there. The City of Liberty, when they have an event at the City Hall, they just use the City of Liberty officers. They don't use Liberty County officers. And I believe Dayton Civic Center uses Dayton PD and not Liberty County. Since this is a building, I'd like to limit it to Liberty County. We've got enough Liberty County commissioned officers to handle that if we could just keep it to Liberty County.
That doesn't hurt my feelings, Bobby. That's very workable. As long as you feel like that it's not going to take from the streets, putting you short-handed.
Yeah, I don't think it'll affect anybody. They understand.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Bobby. Could we have a backup plan in case something of that nature occurred? Yet you did have a shortage, or that we could revert back to Liberty PD on this for secondary security.
Sure.
And that ain't gonna be our problem. That's gonna be whoever's doing the same problem. If they've got a problem and they can't get security, then they'll have to come talk to the county judge and they'll work something else.
Yeah.
I'll be calling you.
But we can get it covered. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
I think it's probably worth noting that the way formula that I was provided by Chief Knox, it would require one officer per 100 people, not to exceed the capacity of 412. And that's if no alcohol is served. If alcohol is to be served, there would be 2 officers required per 100 people, not to exceed the capacity of 112.
Well, I know everybody in this room has seen and knows where the Hartel building is. It may have a capacity of 412 people inside, but you're not going to get that many people parked there.
Yeah.
And the slab behind it, we're now spending almost $500,000 on a 120 by 120 foot building to support that. I just spent $70,000 last year of the county's money fixing the coolers in there that now are going to be subjected to anybody coming in there, and nobody's got the money to replace or fix those coolers when they go out. Then we're gonna have a problem with maintenance over there that's going to be a problem because of the excess use over there and the janitorial work that's gonna be that we know that everybody's not gonna go in here and clean this like it needs to be cleaned. So we're gonna have to put something or address that.
Why are we
Well-
y'all?
The,
We're getting there.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
one other option we have is if they're gonna be using the kitchen area, that's an additional fee. If they're not gonna be using the kitchen area, then it's locked up.
Well, I agree, but the kitchen area, most of the time you're talking about a stand-up freezer or ice box that they may have if they tear up. But when you're talking about a $20,000 and $30,000 walk-in coolers that are subjected to anybody being able to use that has no knowledge of them.
I'm trying to remember, Bruce, is those things lockable?
Yes, sir, I believe they are.
You can put a
So that
padlock
may
on
be an option that we can just lock them up.
If they're lockable, then we could utilize the locks and then they'd have to provide their own coolers.
Yeah,
I really think we ought to look at, limiting the type of events we have, like meetings and stuff. I'm kind of crazy about having receptions and
yeah. I'm-
parties with alcohol and stuff like that. This primary thing is for, if somebody books this thing a year ahead and we've got in the middle of a hurricane, then
They're out.
they're out.
Yeah. I mean, if Lee wants to use it for elections and we have a hurricane, you're out.
Well, have an emergency plan that addresses that. That's
Yeah.
not a problem. But we need to have access. I mean, we're talking about staging jury, I hate to call them cattle calls, but that's what we call them.
Yeah.
There, we're talking about having our, larger meetings there. We're putting in technology for those purposes. Next year is a presidential year. We have big, big, big elections. I need use of that building exclusively for several chunks of time. And, I don't want to walk in and have beer bottles everywhere. It's just, there's no, why are we doing it? Do we need the money?
I don't think we ought to. I think we ought to limit it to nonprofit organizations, local and county and state government usage, education. But as far as general public and parties, quinceanera, birthdays, weddings, I'm not for.
And then the question becomes, for my purposes, writing the contract, when it is, those organizations are we charging them?
If it's nonprofit, I think not. If it's governmental,
The government.
we're all in the same boat floating somewhere.
Sure,
I think also likewise.
sure.
What about the insurance? I mean, if they're having those kinds of parties, do we have to pony up some extra insurance?
We're
for
not,
that?
we're not talking about doing parties anymore.
Okay, well, I just, there's so many issues there. But
Well-
really, I really need it next year. And for, not just a week or two, I need it for like a month here, a month here, a month here. So, and according to the Secretary of State, we have to do full 12-hour elections on weekends now. And they're telling me I have to have exclusive access to our voting locations. Nobody gets to come in and go while election equipment are there. And that includes people that are using it or in office. So, it's a problem, but we have to have it. I don't have any choice. I have to have a big area to do elections. So if you're not going to let me use it for that and have exclusive use for that, then we got a problem. A big, big problem. We're talking probably 25,000 voters next year.
Okay, you're just going to use it for elections only, right? I mean, you go in, you vote, you walk out. That's it.
We're not voting there. We're going to use it to do the election there.
Well, I
Central
got a-
County, early voting ballot board.
I got a location.
Going, that kind of thing.
I got a location for you there. Sheriff, remember your training room over the EOC? You're not using it anymore, are you? Well,
I don't think it's big enough and you're starting to have
It's
egress
huge.
and ingress to get in and out there.
you don't want ingress and egress there. You want it
not
to be
for the
secure.
equipment.
You can lock we have 3 offices that are open over there now. We have the training room, we have the old EOC Emergency Operations Center, and we have the old emergency management office. There's 3 offices over there. And they've gotten locks on all the doors.
We're gonna get exclusive access to it for these dates.
Oh, we got a small trailer room there too. You got the big
Yeah.
trailer room, the small trailer room, you have the.
Mhm.
And we need video. We have to,
We
we have
got
to
it.
show everything we do on video. It has
Well,
to
we
be
got-
streamed to the internet.
We might be getting away from the agenda.
Yeah, I realize that, but still, we're trying to solve a
It's
problem.
use of Jack Cartel, correct?
The
So-
off-season with people, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so even if we don't stage there, then we're voting there, but any which way you go, we gotta use
Yeah,
the.
they use the old the old jail administrative parking court.
They don't, no, they don't. They have their big room at the new sheriff's office. They use that for training.
Okay, but
Auditorium.
the jail don't have offices in there anymore?
They will for a little while until sheriff moves out. Then we're gonna move them over there to the jail where they ought to be. That okay there, Sheriff? Okay.
Well,
No.
why don't the people who randomly use that spot, use that facility while we're using Jack Cartel?
I'm just a sheriff. I'm not, you guys make the decisions, but if she's got to reserve a date, they wouldn't, in my opinion, if somebody called and said, look, I'd like to rent it on this date, if you're blocked off, I said, that date's not available. I mean, I don't know if you have to have it all or not. That's something for you and the judge and commissioner to talk about, but if you've got that reserved date, you're not going to be double booked.
Well, I think as far as election deal, we need to find an alternative place anyway, besides normal elections. In case some of these dates are falling during our hurricane season, what happens if we have an emergency?
We
You're
have,
still gonna have to have an alternative.
no, yeah, we have
Place to go
emergency plans and there are rules about what happens, you know, what we do with the elections, how we suspend them, where we take them. There's a very detailed plan that addresses all that. That won't be a problem.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna make people get out in hurricane mode. We're not gonna subject our equipment to
I
it.
feel like we're talking more about elections than we're talking about the issue at hand.
Well,
Well,
I
no,
think that's gotta be most of the use of that building next year, because we have the two really big, we got the big primaries, we got the big presidential, and we got the city and school stuff in the middle and runoffs to boot, so it's gonna be a lot going on next year.
But before we can come up with some final stuff on this, we gotta know if we're gonna use it for election time. But,
Well, it's historically, it's been used for elections,
yeah,
but elections, period.
yeah,
Go and vote, walk out.
yeah.
And, you know, as far as an administrative location, we have other offices that are available that are much more secure. I mean, so that, just throwing that out there, it's something that's workable.
Yeah, because actually that's not secure because you've got the historical commission stuff that goes in and out of there.
Well, that's the thing, they wouldn't be able to go in and
Yes, I'm talking about
out.
locking them out too.
We'd like everybody out. We would escort the maintenance people in, it would be.
We're probably,
Yes, sir.
we're probably, I'll try to find a little.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to get stray too far out in the weeds on this one.
I mean, when you think about it, though, there are a lot of county functions that need that size building. And I hate to see that becomes an issue because we want to make $100 letting somebody have a quinceanera. You know,
Better bit more than that.
well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's gonna cost more than that to,
yeah, I think we need to look back at this again and say, hey, are we gonna rent the place out to the general public? That's pretty much the question. Leon, is that the way you look at it? We're gonna let it go to the general public?
Well, we didn't mean to make it a simple decision is, are we gonna rent it or not?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a simple decision, yes or no. And then that will eliminate a lot of other problems.
Right.
Actually, probably would, at this point, not rent it out.
Yeah.
We can use it for special governmental functions and
juries.
meetings and jury, and, you know, stuff like that.
I'd say not rent it out also.
And then at some point down the line, if we change our mind, we can readdress this again.
Instead of making a decision today, I would ask y'all that we put this into a workshop where we can get all the issues out there. We can cover everything that Lee's talking about on her side for election.
Just not this year.
We can cover,
Printed that for y'all.
yeah, we can cover, some of this building has already been leased in the future, okay? For private events. So we have one that's in November, that it's always been a first come, first served basis. If we don't know the dates for an election, then we don't know. So, we're going to have to come up with a plan, what to do for the future. And the building becomes a county property in August. There it is. So we've got a little time, a little wiggle room. So I'd ask that y'all consider and approve revised policies. Don't make any revised policies today. Take no action. Let's call this a moment where we are enlightened of what the problem is, and then call for a workshop and sit down together and get this correct the first time. Okay? Is that okay?
That sounds good to me.
Leon, is that all right?
I'm fine.
All right. Right.
Make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from Leon. Take no action. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no. All right, that is done.
Do it, Bruce.
Leon, you want the honors this morning?
Sorry.
You want the honors this morning? Adjourn?
Yeah.
Leon said adjourn. Need a second? Got a second from Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.